I'm very excited. I think, it's kind of personal for us. It's like a rivalry thing. I think, we want to send them out the right way and see you later.
SEC you later.
Yeah, see you later. Let's just see you later.
Sarah, do you guys talk about it, address it at all, or is it just kind of something that's understood within the team?
What's understood don't got to be explained, Am I,
Go
am I
ahead.
showing out?
Go ahead, yeah.
Nah, what's understood ain't got to be explained. I think, when you come to Baylor, you automatically know, like, when that game come, that's the rivalry game. Like, we gonna wake up and play. I think, we played some good basketball in Stillwater, but it's something about us when we play Texas or something. We just come out with a different type of firepower, so I'm excited.
Asia, what do you feel like got it turned? Sarah mentioned, I think y'all played really well in Oklahoma State too. What changed for you guys, or was there anything that changed in terms of how well y'all played there?
I would say we just woke up. We just woke up and started playing as a team. We started sharing the ball, started going through our zone offense, and started working through that because we know teams are going to throw that at us. So we just started really just working out with that.
You obviously had those numbers at Missouri, but did that surprise you at all? 19 rebounds in the game?
It didn't really feel like 19, but until like Dre said it, I was like, oh. But I mean, yeah, I don't know how to. Yeah.
Sarah, when teams go through maybe a bump in the road, they can go one of two ways. The frustration can kind of take over, or they can respond. What for you guys allowed you guys to do the second of those two options in Stillwater?
You got to understand. I think we have to understand that this is a great league. You can be beat on any given night. We can't keep counting losses. We got to move on to the next game. So we kind of learned from what we did wrong in those games and just took it and applied it in the next games to grow from our mistakes. So we just like, hey, we got another basketball game to play. It's more basketball to play. Let's continue to grow and learn and not make the same mistakes we did make.
Sarah, when you see K-State continue to win, and they have 0 conference losses, y'all have 3. Is that in your mind, or do you just kind of take care of your own business?
We're going to take care of our own business. I ain't worried about K-State. Right now, our mind is focused on Texas, and then whoever our opponent is after that. We taking one game at a time. They're doing their thing. We're going to continue to do our thing, and when the time comes for us to meet up again, we'll be ready.
Asia, you pretty clearly built up some good chemistry over that first 14-game stretch. How important was that for y'all during that last little hiccup?
I mean, it was very important, and it just gives us a way to realize, and just remember who we were in the beginning of the season when we do reach humps or we went on that stretch of losing. But we just try to get on the right track, and remember what team we are and, yeah, how good we play together.
Asia, what do you see in Texas? Obviously you guys have already played them, but what do you see in them, minus Rory obviously got hurt, but what do you see in them?
Texas is a good team. Obviously, they're big, so we're going to be battling down low in the post all night. So they're big, but, it's a good competition. Good players both ways, so it's going to be a good game.
Sarah, off of that similar question for you, do you feel like they've changed or adapted how they played without Rory? Because I think the first game without her was when you guys played them the first time, so you think they've changed in that stretch now that they've kind of adjusted to playing without her?
Oh, yeah, completely. I think, they've realized that they've had to have players step up. But I think Madison Booker, has taken on that role of being that point guard. It's not easy as a freshman. So a lot of kudos to her for being that freshman that stepped up and taking that role. I think you saw it actually when they played us the first time. Like, we kind of spooked her the first 5 minutes. Like, it was like, welcome to the Big 12. And that's kind of what we wanted to do. Like, she's a freshman. It was like, welcome to the Big 12. But she's a special freshman, and she has a lot of talent.
Wow. I'm not sure it's weird that you ask it that way and then, because I don't think it's ever should be about what it means to me. But that makes me emotional for you to ask it that way because I just think that, it's the highest honor for a college, athlete. And so when you have a player who's the greatest ever player to put on a Baylor women's basketball jersey, not be in the rafters, it was something that I just felt like always should happen, based on her accomplishments and, who I know Brittany Griner to be.
Follow that up, Zach. Come on.
I want to ask about Texas.
Yeah. Okay.
If that's okay, Jerry, sorry to, end your
Yeah.
streak
And she'll
there.
probably talk for a while about it.
Yeah.
They're a different team than they were when you played them the first time. I guess. What are you expecting from this Texas team, and how good is it to end the rivalry, national television, top 15 matchup, all that fun stuff?
Yeah, I don't think we will end a rivalry. That part, yes, but a Big 12 rivalry for sure. I don't think Vic has skirted playing good competition in the non-conference, and neither have we. So whether it's next year or in the future, I don't think it's the last time you'll see Baylor and Texas play one another. But certainly, with the Big 12 brand, I think they are different. I think we're different. When you look at that game, Asia was coming off of an injury and was ineffective in the 10 minutes she played. And we have Asia back now. I think Taylor Jones being back makes them different. It makes them harder to guard at the 5 because she, while Phi is a very good rebounder, scores around the rim, she's more of a recipient scorer than someone that they play to a lot, and so you have to game plan for Taylor Jones. Obviously, Madison Booker was very, very good against us the last time, has continued to be very, very good against everybody else as well, kind of in her new role. I thought we got to her early, and Vic put her on the bench for a little bit to get her, thoughts back, and then she responded really, really well, and they simplified. They ran fewer things. They kept the ball in the middle of the floor against us, gotten a lot of ball screens, just really did a good job of playing in the tunnel. So I thought it was a game where offensively, outside of our turnovers, we were good all night. Defensively, we were fantastic in the first half. I really think they got whatever they wanted in the second half. So we have to put 4 quarters defensively together against them. And continue to handle their pressure. They showed some zone in the last game. I know Vic hates playing zone, but we certainly have to be prepared for their zone as well, which, we probably saw 2 possessions of it, and I'm not sure we even knew we were seeing it. We were already flowing into offense, and I think there are things you can get against the 3-2 zone, in our regular man offense. So it wasn't something that probably people even noticed.
Coach, I assume I know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Last scheduled game against Texas, do you address it with the team and kind of the magnitude?
No. I think we both have 3 losses in conference play. I think that we're both fighting to be in the top half of the standings, So I think it's more about the rivalry itself. It's more about the standings. It's more about our opportunity to sweep them, their opportunity to not be swept. All of those things. So I think that part of it is really, really important.
Asia put up those numbers at Missouri, obviously, but is it just a matter of her getting healthy or kind of getting into the routine, like her 19?
The layups, the missed layups, or the rebounds, Jerry?
Yeah, missed layups. Maybe that's why she gets so many rebounds. She misses layups.
Oh, Asia. I just think I think she had a really different role at Missouri, and she was constantly surrounded by shooters. How they played was different. There were similarities in some ways. I think Robin's really good teacher of motion, and they did a good job of shuffling her to the rim. She really played some 4, some 5 for them, and so that kept her around the rim a lot. It's easier. We talked about earlier in the season, like, why isn't Bugs rebounding as much as she did last year? And it's by nature. She was forced to defend inside a lot last year, and so she was around the rim. And it's harder to rebound out of your area, and you're just not naturally around those soft rebounds. So I think for Bugs, it's the same thing. Like, Asia Asia's starting to rebound now because we tend to have her guard in the interior. And so my challenge to her was I think she's been an effective defensive rebounder for us. Like, she's strong. She's not afraid of contact, all those things. My challenge to her was, like, where we need the offensive rebounding version, where you're relentless on the glass. She reminded me of something I had said in practice, which I had challenged her. I didn't remember the exact wording, and I won't share it here. But, just wanting her to practice rebounding the way she needs to rebound in games. She should be swimming if she's behind. Like, I just thought she was allowing people to put their body on her, and she would just stop and retreat, as opposed to swimming around them, putting a knee in their, rear and pushing them forward and compete however needed to be. And I just think when we haven't shot the basketball as well, kind of in this stretch, like, the one thing we control is our effort on the glass. And so to me, it wasn't just Asia. I thought it was Bella too early. I think Bella could be one of the best rebounding guards in the country, and, challenging her to use her athleticism, her strength. I mean, that's the thing about Bella. Bella has this unique strength, speed, instinct, and bounce. She's probably the bounciest person on our team. So you put those three things together, and it's just a choice whether you're going to go use it or not.
You talked about challenging the players. When you were up to such a hot start to start this season, was it hard to find things to challenge them, or did they maybe not respond?
I think you still challenge them. I think they don't. It's easier, I think, when you're winning to not be as focused on the little things, because you get away with some things. You're still showing, believe me, we still showed as much tape after those wins. We always call it room for improvement, not good and bad, but room for improvement. They love seeing that on the slide before film, room for improvement. They know some missed assignments are coming. And so I think that we've always done it, but I think it feels less personal in those situations than when maybe those mistakes feel more like they were a part of a loss. Like, you got away with them and you won. Now all of a sudden, it maybe feels more personal. And we know there's never one mistake that leads to a loss. But certainly when you're in 1 and 2 possession games, where the difference between making the right read or missing a defensive assignment is the difference in a 1 possession loss against Kansas State, a 1 possession loss against Iowa State, like, then it's a little bit different.
Coach, when the 3 ball isn't going down for y'all as a team like it has been last couple games, do you feel like you need them to just shoot through it, or is it kind of, as a coaching staff, do you feel like you need to find different looks?
Yeah, it's good question. I think it's a little of both. I mean, I think it's are they good shots? Like, we're very intentional about pointing out, even if we miss shots. I thought Yaya's 2 threes in the first half against Oklahoma State were really, really good threes. Bella's first miss in the third quarter was a fantastic 3, for her and for us. And so it's about what does it look like? Was it a good shot? Was it a good shot for you? If it's a good shot for you, we want you to take it. That doesn't mean that when you're really off, that it isn't time to create opportunity for other people. But that just depends on the player. There are players on our team whose role is to shoot it. They're not creators for other people. So if those particular players get great shots, we want them to take them, because that's why they're out there in the first place. So it's kind of understanding, like, what is your impact on our team, and how can you help us? And there's ways to impact the game. I mean, we're constantly doing these evaluations of players that play. Let's just say you play 30 minutes a game, and you may actually have the ball in your hand for 2.5 minutes of that 30 minutes. You know, I mean, it's a 5-player game, and there's 2 ends of the court. And so how are you impacting the game when the ball's not in your hand? You're not shooting it. Are you screening? Are you defending? Are you rebounding? And really getting them to understand that, you know, the biggest challenge for us coaching this group is some days it's when they do miss, you know, kind of the body language, and a lot of it's just frustration with themselves, you know, and it's like how that frustration, especially if you took a good shot and missed a good shot, like great players, elite teams don't allow it to affect how they transition back on defense, you know, and, you know, if you get too caught up in a shot you missed, you're going to miss the opportunity to make the next one. And so, you know, that's been a little bit of the focus of this team. Like, I don't think it's selfishness, but it is to some degree. Like, they're not selfish kids. They want to make the right play for their teammates. They want to make the shot for their teammates, and for themselves. But, you know, sometimes, like, frustration over missing shots impacts everything else. You know, it's just we've got to be better at that.
Just to go back on the jersey retirement really quick, I know that there are some players that have worn retired numbers, and there's, you know, situations with you reaching out to former players and asking for permission. Is it your hope that no one wears a 42 at Baylor?
Well, I can't speak to who comes after me. I can only speak for myself, but no one will wear 42 while I'm the head coach at Baylor. I think the uniqueness of the rule change this year, and as head of the rules committee, I was able to approve this, that, you know, people can now wear 0 to 99. That opens up a lot more numbers. I think before it was hard at a program like Baylor, and there are others. You know, if you started retiring all the good players' numbers and pulling those numbers out, you would have been very, very limited. And so I think it's this idea of you're honoring the number and not officially retiring the actual number. But, you know, I think she's the best player that's ever put on a Baylor uniform. And I think we should respect that. And, you know, it's really easy, too, right now because we don't have anyone wearing that number. So we don't have to take it off anyone's back. But yeah, we did. You know, I did reach out to Melissa Jones before Bugs wore 5. I thought it was important to respect who she is and what she meant to Baylor. And obviously it was very easy with Asia and Sophia because Sophia's been a mentor for Asia, you know, really ever since we recruited her. So, but yeah, you won't see anyone in 42.
How has Texas adapted without Rory? Obviously, y'all played them right when they lost her, but how different are they without her?
They're different. But they also are really, really talented, and, you know, I know have lost. You know, they were undefeated with Rory, have lost 3 without her. You know, I think where they don't have, Rory was just so good defensively, and not just with her ball pressure, but she was by far their best rotational player. Someone that took charges, someone that was never late to rotation. You know, I think it puts everyone a little bit more out of position at times. But I certainly think that they still play with the same physicality, the same energy, the same expectation of getting stops, of being in denial, of being in help side. Rory she's just a really, really special player. And so she made them probably better in every area. I'm sure Vic can speak to that better than I can. But I think they have really talented players. They run a little less dribble drive, but they're actually getting back to it. I thought they ran a lot of dribble drive against OU and were really effective. You know, I know they gave up 91, but they also scored a heck of a lot of points. And so, you know, I still think they're when you have a Taylor Jones inside, when you have a National Freshman of the Year candidate in a Maddie Booker, Shaylee Gonzalez has shot the ball really, really well. I think Shea Holly, you know, as a senior, has always had an impact, but I think you just she gets career high after career high now, and you know her points per shot is crazy. She's making shots in the mid range. You know, she makes enough threes to be good points per shot, but she's finishing at the rim and really doing a great job. You know, getting to use her athletic ability at both ends more than she did when she was, you know, a 12, 18-minute game player. So I think she's really risen to the occasion in the loss of Rory and given them a chance. And then they always, you know, I don't know when Gaston gets back, but, you know, in the midst of Gaston being out, Moore's starting to play, you know, with a lot of confidence. And so, you know, she can be a beast around the rim. So they're definitely not without talent. That's for sure.
How are you, your team, injury-wise? I know that I think I saw that Jada limped off during the game. How are you?
Jada's fine. You know, she's tweaked that ankle maybe 5 times this season. I don't know. We're going on. Maybe it's more than that. And so, but she's okay. I mean, she's been full go in practice. Madison is still out with a lower back injury. Haven't even seen her, obviously, on the bench dealing with low back issues. But other than that, we're healthy. Thank you.